So that's a future proponents of this Fair Tax Act would like to see. The idea of implementing a national sales tax in lieu of our current federal tax apparatus. This bill would eliminate the need for the IRS entirely by simplifying the tax code. See, when I read this, I'm like, this is awesome. The Fair Tax Act would get rid of every type of current federal tax, including payroll, self-employment, estate, death, and corporate taxes, and replace them with a nationwide 23% retail tax that happens at the checkout counter for new goods and services. See, I like how this model was created initially. The idea that you're not being taxed on income and you're cutting all these other taxes, but you're only being taxed on what you're purchasing. That's a good start. Now, 23% to me is way too high. I would like to see it maybe at 10% max, which means we would have to cut the size of the government. So if we cut the government in size, we get rid of our representatives and cut those guys off, we can get this down so that way we can look at just a flat rate. Actually, arguably, we can get to a point to where there's no federal tax apparatus or structure at all by restructuring our federal government and by eliminating a lot of it, reducing the size, and also making certain areas of our government more profitable by charging for the services that our government offers. So that would be another way of looking at it, because our government already has plenty of money. I mean, income tax alone only accounts for half of our federal budget. So you cut our federal government in half, and we get rid of all income tax. It's pretty easy math. So there you go. So I like the fact that we're actually now talking about getting rid of the IRS, because I think what they're giving them an extra $80 billion to hire, tens of thousands of new IRS agents, so they can spend all that extra money on all these people to go after small businesses and all these independent contractors when they start, looking into everyone's accounts here, and everyone's going to have to claim everything over $600, something like that, on your Venmos and all of those cash electronic transfer apps. So that's going to be interesting to see. So, I like this talk about getting rid of the IRS and implementing a new model, because the IRS doesn't even have legal standing. So it's not our Constitution. We don't have to have it. So we can get rid of them. So there you go. I think that's a good idea.